Guys, Copper Cutlass here. I'm making this video because in previous videos I've made it a point to kind of address some of the safety upgrades that I've done. You know, I redid my drive shaft safety loops in the spring. I upgraded my drive shaft, both, not only the drive shaft loop, but the drive shaft. Very important safety things to do, especially if you're doing any form of racing where the drive shaft will see a lot of stress. The other thing I did when I did that also was I added braces between the floor pans to properly anchor my seats more positively to the floor, because although I had them between the braces like most people do, due to the anchoring, I didn't like it. I didn't feel it was safe. So I ended up putting some angle iron between the floor braces, welded in there, drilled through it, put my seat brackets through that. So the only way that's going to rip out is if the car is upside down and somebody hits it. It's on there positively. It's not like just bolts sitting on the sheet metal. So, and then we also did the engine diaper because I had a small little oil leak. And although I plan on fixing it, it was very minor to the point where the engine diaper was a no-brainer. You know, if you don't want to, spin out on your own fluids, or, anybody else spin on your fluids. So again, safety is something that I've really pushed for on my car in the last probably 5 years. So the whole reason for this and why I'm talking about it is because there's been a bunch of videos popping up lately, like on Facebook and all that crap, where people's cars have just gone ablaze. And the one that got me was the one where the guy has that black F100, F150 flare side, and he's like, trying to get help. When something like that happens, you're caught off guard, and essentially that car just burned to the ground. And people are suggesting like he should have shut the hood. But guys, if you have a fire underneath the hood, the first thing you should not do is close the hood, because it's going to make it harder for the fire department to get in there, because now they have to set up for the jaws of life because they can't open it. So either way, in my mind, I'm like, this guy should have your cheap $20 fire extinguisher that anybody and everybody should have in their car. Whether you have a race car, whether you have whatever, you should have one. I have one in the Olds, I have one in the Pontiac. And in the Pontiac, it's actually a scarier thought, because it's got fuel injection. If there's a wiring issue and that fuel pump just keeps on running, because of a fire or fire damage, it's just going to keep pumping fuel. So I have a master cutoff switch for that, that I can get to in that event. I can cut off all the power if that happens. And again, it's just one of those things where I'm thinking safety here. And again, like I have had my share of my biggest wake-up call. I mentioned to you guys in the past about engine overheated while we were breaking in. We were rushing, we were pushing to get it broken in before we lost daylight, and that kind of a rush factor and pushing to get it done kind of made us overlook a couple things, and there was a couple of issues with the run stand, and the odds were kind of stacked against us. And the reason why I say that is because in the video, the guy's like, I just got this done, and everybody gets all excited when they get their hot rod done, and at the end of the day, things can get overlooked. And even for me, like it takes me a long time to venture off on the longer drives with my cars, because I really want to make sure I want to shake out the bugs. So I start out sweet and simple, drive around the block, check for fluids, little by little, start driving it to work, which I work 2 blocks away, do that commute a couple of times, or if you don't work 2 blocks away, go down to the local Dairy Queen and get an ice cream if it's 2-3 blocks away, till you get comfortable. You can take longer drives. And even then, when you take longer drives, pull over, check your fuel lines, check your trans lines. Transmission fluid is flammable. Do not ignore transmission leaks. All engine fluids are pretty much flammable, but transmission fluid will go up really nice. So, my advice is carry a fire extinguisher. It can save you a lot of grief. You've put a lot of work into your car. This can quite possibly save your life, save your car, and you know, on one of the pages on one of these videos, somebody posted, where is there a good spot where I can put it where it doesn't look ugly? I don't think safety is about looking good. Safety is about being safe. So, you know, if you have a car that you're taking to a car show, just take it out. But you should have it. Don't worry about it being an eyesore. That really pissed me off that somebody said something like, where can I put it where it's not an eyesore? It doesn't matter. This is safe. Safety doesn't look good. I skateboarded for 13 years. Helmets don't look good, but in certain situations, I would actually wear a helmet. I should have worn it a lot more, but I was an indestructible teenager. But safety doesn't look pretty, but it works. So guys, I'm gonna send off with that, man. It pays to look over your work, and this prevents a lot of grief. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree, what are your rituals for safety? I mean, I'm always open to suggestions. I'm not the end all be all. I learned by trial a lot, and I just try to be better than the last, experience. And for me, it's something that I've taken a strong stance towards building a better car, having a safer car. So guys, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Follow us on Instagram, Copper Cutlass, Facebook, Copper's Garage, YouTube, Copper Cutlass. Thanks, like, share. See you.